my stars and stripes, do we have a lot to talk about. Hello, and welcome back to Layman's Perspective, the show where I buy myself a new camera because I know you guys appreciate when I make things look pretty for you. So we made it. The final episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. What a crazy ride it's been. So let's discuss how it all ended. Sam and Buck, again, each of these episodes pick up right where the previous one left off. Sam and Buck are closing in on the GRC building, and I really like how here as Sergeant Barnes, Bucky has law enforcement clout as he kind of enters into the perimeter and nobody kind of stops him. It was a funny little yin-yang moment to after we saw the reputation that he has as the Winter Soldier in the criminal underworld. I felt this was a good mirror of that scene. Shortly after entering, we see that Sharon's also entered the country somehow in order to help them, sort of. And she's sporting the same kind of nanotech face mesh disguise that we saw Natasha use all the way back in Captain America the Winter Soldier. So that was cool. It was a cool nod that they incorporated that into the story again. We don't get too much time to dwell on the specifics of how Sharon has reappeared, however, because the show drops Sam's new Captain America wingsuit. Oh my god, you guys, it was beautiful. It was so beautiful. My little nerd heart, I didn't think I'd be able to take it, and I was right. It was so awesome. Excuse my French. I'll bleep that out in post. Of all the MCU references to the comics, costumes at least specifically, I honestly think this might be one of my favorites. It's just so well designed and so well executed, and I just loved it so much. I mean, just look at it. It's ripped straight out of the comics, you guys. They did this so well. Batroc understandably wants a piece of that ass, and he immediately jumps in to fight our new Cap, while Bucky deals with Carly. Now, it's interesting that we get to see Bucky try to talk her down this time, which is something that we normally have just been seeing Sam do this entire time, and it's made more interesting still by the fact that Bucky's able to offer her unique wisdom in the form of telling her that, hey, listen, the deaths that you commit at your hand are going to haunt you, regardless of the situation. She's only stalling for time, however, and Buck tears off in pursuit to stop her as Sam continues to battle Batroc. Now, a little side note here. Sharon presumably murders this hash-slinging slasher, with mercury vapor? That's kind of right? Is that just me? Am I the only one who thinks that? Then again, Sharon's kind of just a chaotic neutral through and through, left and right in this episode, so I guess it's not too out of character for her. We're going to talk about her more later in this review, don't worry. With some beautiful new shield acrobatics, Sam beats Batroc and he flies after Carly's rogue helicopters. And in general, Sam's fight choreography in this episode, using the shield and his wingsuit in tandem, it was glorious. Even here, in this specific scene, how he throws the shield out the window, not intending for it to come back to him, and instead jumping out and flying to intercept it and catch it. Oh my god, it was inspired. So good. I specifically think this little scene here of the wings deflecting the helicopter is pretty good evidence that the wings also are indeed made of vibranium, which is just, again, so cool. It makes Sam such a badass. I don't think he needs the serum. I never thought he needed the serum, but I don't think he needs the serum. It'd be like putting a hat on a hat at this point. And then, before I have a chance to fully absorb Falcon, or I suppose I should be calling him Cap at this point, right? Yeah. Before I've even had a chance to fully absorb Flying Cap in all of his glory, we see that Red Wing is returned! He is risen! Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm sorry. I really love Red Wing, you guys. On the ground, we see that Carly is starting to unravel a little bit. Right? She seems unconcerned with both the lives of her hostages as well as herself and her own followers, and you can kind of see it on their faces that they seem a little unsure of her sanity and her leadership in this situation. They're like, are we sure that we want to follow this person right now? While Buck tries to break the hostages out of the burning truck, Walker shows up. I'll be honest, after what happened 2 episodes ago, I was really afraid. I didn't know what Walker was going to do. I was nervous that he was just going to start ripping people's heads off or something like that. But, in a surprising turn of character, after having a little kind of squaff with the hash-slinging slashers, he actually does the right thing in the end. Forsaking his revenge and his mantle of Captain America, literally throwing the shield down, kind of visualizing that metaphor, he latches onto the bumper of the van and he tries to save it from going over. And I think that this deliberate little display of heroism is meant to delineate that Walker, going forward as U.S. agent, which we will also talk about, is going to be an anti-hero, not a villain. I know that a lot of you guys hate Walker, and a lot of you probably think that he's done way too many terrible and questionable things in order to be a good guy, but that's kind of the definition of an anti-hero, is that they're a moral gray area. Yeah, okay, in the end, they always end up doing the right thing, but their ends don't always justify their means. Think Deadpool, The Punisher, Ghost Rider, like really edgy characters who, yeah, technically do good, but they really straddle the line. I think that's the direction that they're going to take his character going forward. Also, interestingly, in this scene, we get a tiny little echo of the score from Civil War as they knock him over the edge of the girders, specifically the final fight where Steve is facing off against Tony. The slashers knock him down, but not before Sam flies into the rescue. Batroc stops Sam, Walker, and Buck from facing off against the rest of the hash-slinging slashers, however, by shooting in some smoke grenades, kind of breaking up the group, leading to both the slashers and our trio splitting up. Carly ends up facing with Sharon, who we learn was the power broker, which all the 5-year-olds in the audience found surprising. No, I kid the reveal. I'm just saying, it's something that I very much saw coming. I think a lot of people saw coming, and for me personally, the C-plot of Sharon, is she or is she not the power broker, never really held that much interest or intrigue to me. So I was kind of just like, oh, okay, yeah. This wasn't a Mephisto earth-shattering reveal to me. Confrontation ends up in a Mexican standoff kind of sort of thing, with Carly, Sharon, and Batroc all pointing their guns at each other. Now, Sharon shoots Batroc, and Carly shoots Sharon. So Carly's the one who ends up walking away, although Sharon kind of just shrugs that bullet off. Sam jumps in, although initially he doesn't want to fight her. With his new suit, we see that they're more or less evenly matched now. He kind of just allows her to lay into him, just punching him because he can take it now, refusing to fight back and trying to get her to stop. This results in Sharon shooting Carly in order to save Sam, who, yeah, she was looking down the barrel of her gun at Sam, and it looked like she was going to shoot him. So ultimately, I think that was the right thing to do on Sharon's part. It was an interesting turning of events, only because Sam, after trying so hard to stop her from dying, doesn't seem to hold any ill will towards Sharon, like, at all. I don't know. We get some very tasty angelic symbolism, which my friend Yana caught. Shout out to Yana. As Sam descends, wings outstretched with a dead Carly in his arms, before we're treated to a fantastic speech from Sam, confronting the senators about their relocation plan. His speech touches on a lot of things. You know, he compares their actions to Thanos's in terms of the powerful acting over the powerless. He acknowledges the hate and judgment that he'll be receiving going forward as the new Captain America, but also as a black man. But the ultimate point of his words are that they can all do better than what they're doing right now. And I think this was actually my favorite sentiment of his in the entire speech. The line, "Yet I'm still here. No super serum, no blonde hair or blue eyes. The only power I have is that I believe we can do better." The speech impresses everyone, right? The senators, the onlookers, Bucky, even Walker kind of looks like he's like thinking like, makes a lot of sense. And heartwarmingly, I really love this. It really kind of solidified their buddy cop duo to me. Bucky refers to Sam as Cap here. Like, come on, that's just adorable, you guys. You got it. That'll catch you right in the feels. Sharon, again, confusingly, kind of just leaves without facing any repercussions for any of her actions as the power broker, hiring Batroc, colluding with Carly, running the criminal underworld on Madripoor, presumably indirectly murdering lots and lots of people, breaking all kinds of international laws. Now, I guess the argument or explanation here is that Sam and Buck don't know because they weren't there for the Mexican standoff where she was revealed to be the power broker, but it still felt a little weird to me. Anyhow, she leaves, and Sam flies off to kick some ass as the world's new, true Captain America. And we get a couple of wrap-up scenes, all right? Getting the last laugh, number one, we see afterwards that even from within the raft, Zemo, working through his deceptively innocent-seeming butler, but I guess he's not really, assassinates the remaining hash-slinging slashers, kind of, remaining true to his own character and mission of exterminating all the super soldiers. 2, in DC, we see Dreyfus as Madame Hydra again, and she's now canonically dubbed Walker as U.S. agent, much as I told you guys about back in the very first episode, That's kind of where I thought this was going to go, and it looks like that's what they're doing with him. He is now officially U.S. agent, kind of like Black Ops undercover super soldier, anti-hero kind of stuff. 3. Bucky, staying true to Sam's advice from the prior episode, finally goes to Mr. Nakajima's apartment and comes clean to him about his involvement with his son's death. And now lastly, 4. Sam goes back to visit Isaiah one last time. They talk for a bit, they kind of like spar back and forth as if they're kind of like frenemies now, about Sam's reasoning for taking up the shield mostly, but we ultimately see that his purpose for visiting was to take Isaiah and his grandson to the Cap Memorial, and in a really touching scene, we see that Sam has had a wing in the memorial specifically dedicated to Isaiah's story, forever cementing his story as a component of the entire Captain America legacy. It was extremely touching. And again, Carl Lumbly's performance brought tears to my eyes. We end on one more montage of Sam and Buck broing about in Sam's hometown, and the title fades in. However, eagle-eyed viewers would have noticed that the title, instead of saying Falcon and the Winter Soldier, now says Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Very nice touch. We only get one end credit scene, and disappointingly, it had nothing to do with the Thunderbolts. I know. We instead see that Sam was true to his word, getting Sharon that full pardon from the government that he promised he would get her, even getting her reinstated as a government agent. She graciously accepts, but as she leaves the building, we see that she slyly on the other end of the phone with some unknown person says, "Oh, we're gonna have all this access to all these juicy government toys and whatnot now," implying that she'll very much be retaining her alter ego as the power broker, essentially making her a mole/double agent in the government. Now, it's cool, I guess, but I was really hoping for a Thunderbolts tease. Oh well. Addendum, you guys, emergency alert, okay? I'm coming to you from the future, or the past, technically, I don't know. I'm coming to you later in the night after recording the initial chunk of my finale review, okay? And it's about the Thunderbolts. There's a reason we didn't get the Thunderbolts teaser, okay? Not because it didn't exist, but because it got moved. Essentially, what we have found out is that there was a Thunderbolts teaser filmed. It was originally going to be part of the show, but it wasn't, and I'm going to explain why. Remember, all the way back to this time last year, Black Widow was supposed to come out in May of 2020. Obviously it didn't because COVID kind of royally screwed up the movie theater experience. And now they're kind of sitting on it. Right now they're going to release it in July. We'll see if they actually do because they've pushed it back a few times. But it was originally supposed to have been out a year ago, okay? The order in which that we've gotten things has been a little screwed up. It was originally supposed to go Black Widow, Falcon and Winter Soldier. WandaVision was not going to be... we weren't going to see WandaVision until like the 4th or 5th Disney Plus show. And it just so happened that things got reshuffled around and we saw WandaVision first, okay? Why this is significant is because in the Black Widow movie, we're going to be introduced to a character named Yelena Belova. You know, many are assuming, we know so little about this movie. Many people are assuming that she's going to be either a blood sister or adopted sister or kind of honorary sister in arms of Natasha back, because this movie's taking place in the past, obviously, because the character Black Widow died in Endgame, and very sad, we'll remember. So Yelena Belova is assumed to be one of those three: real sister, stepsister, metaphorical sister, one of those things, and many people assume that this new character is going to take up the mantle of Black Widow, kind of passing the torch on and carrying that hero, albeit with a different character, into future movies. Now, building off of that, people think that she is going to be a component of the new Thunderbolts team, and that she's going to be going around with Thunderbolt Ross, presumably helping to recruit people to the team. So, in the original order in which they were supposed to have released things, we were going to get Black Widow, we would have been introduced to the character of Yelena Belova, and then further down the line, we would have watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We would have gotten the Thunderbolts teaser with this character who we'd already met in Black Widow. But because we've gotten things out of order, we haven't met the character yet. So they chopped the Thunderbolts teaser out of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and we're assuming now that we're going to see it as an add-on end credit scene in Black Widow. I'm not 100% sure that's what we're going to get, but I'm 80 to 90% sure that's when we'll see it. I'm 100% sure it exists. We've been told that that scene exists. We don't know when we're going to see it. I'm betting that we're going to see it during the Black Widow movie. And if I'm right, 3 months from now, okay, well, that's just another prediction that I confirmed way months in advance. Okay, so now we're gonna go back to the video. So that was the finale. All right, I was super satisfied with this, you guys. I was super satisfied with this. Okay, you guys. More than anything, I think the show really did a service to the character of Sam Wilson. All right, now Bucky too. Don't get me wrong, but I think the gold medal for character development really goes to Sam. He's just so much more layered and complex now. And I really, truly love him as the new Captain America. Like, I think that handing off the torch in the manner that they did it was executed perfectly. Again, don't get me wrong, Bucky got his fair share of fleshing out too. And all the supporting / ancillary characters were fun inclusions as well, be they returning characters like Zemo or Sharon or Ayo, or the new characters, you know, Walker, Isaiah, Torres, even Carly eventually grew on me as a passable sympathetic villain. She won me over in the end. And like I've said before, I loved exploring the political ramifications of the snap this time around after looking at it from an emotional point of view in WandaVision. And you know, I think in general that a lot of people liked this show too. It's not just us, not just me and you guys, okay? For one thing, I think Nielsen just released their streaming metrics, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier is the #1 rated original streaming content show all the way back as of its second week over anything else on Disney Plus, Hulu, Netflix. That's something that WandaVision was never able to do. Not only that, but this show now holds the record for the highest viewership of any of the Disney Plus shows so far. So that means that it not only beat out WandaVision, but it also had better metrics than The Mandalorian Season 1 and 2, which is the Disney Plus show that a lot of people kind of view as the one that started it all. What I'm saying is I think it's safe to say that a lot of people enjoyed this. So much so that you Captain America fans will be very happy to know I looked up in my research, based off of the positive reviews and reception of this show, a Captain America 4 has now been greenlit with the showrunner for this show, Malcolm Spellman, and it's going to be starring Anthony Mackie as Cap. So Anthony Mackie's getting his own Captain America movie now. We don't know squat about what this is going to be about at all because this is brand new news. I was going to do a quick take about it, but it feels more natural to just include it as part of this review. I think that's great. I really do. It kind of just shows how popular the character was and how beloved this new mantle, this new version of Captain America is already turning out to be in the eyes of people. That's all the detail I'm going to go into here, though, you guys. Just like last time, I will at some point release a series overview discussing my thoughts on the show as a whole. And in that video, we can go more into depth in terms of what I think about the themes and character arcs and, you know, junk like that. So be on the lookout for that video. Until then, in the meantime, if you could please do me a favor, subscribe to my humble little channel here, poke that thumbs up icon under the video, and share this to whomever you think might enjoy it. I will live longer, and that is an irrefutable fact. Okay, remember, time is your most valuable resource, and I'm always happy you chose to spend some of it with me. I'll see you guys next time.